Today is another episode of doing weird stuff with the Palo Alto firewall. I only half kid. Had a Reddit question that I thought was really interesting. So there's this new thing in ChatGPT called the ChatGPT-agent, which is basically this kind of simulated browser, and the ChatGPT agent can go in there and it can do its own research, it can explore the web, and it kind of can do it iteratively. So it's not just writing text like it normally does. And the asker on Reddit noticed that a lot of these requests that were being made out to the web were actually not being held to the policies of the Palo Alto firewall that they had in place. So this is actually a way that their users were able to bypass some of their network security policies. And so this asker asked how to block it, how to block this specific ChatGPT agent, and if there's a way to do that with the firewall. The asker pointed out that all of these requests do just pop up as the openai-chatgpt application. So is there a way to block it even though it's always being identified as the same application? The answer is yes. Thank you to my coworker Lindsay Mickey for showing me how this could be done, and it is through something called a custom application. So I'm going to walk through how we can build a custom application for this ChatGPT agent and then block it, and I will show you that it is indeed blocked. This was asked twice here on Reddit, but I'm pretty sure that the asker is the same person, because one is ICANN has Cisco and the other one is ICANN has Cisco Plox, and it's pretty much the same question. So ICANN has Cisco. To you, hopefully this answers your question, and we are going to show you how you can build your own application for this ChatGPT agent and block it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, so I figured the easiest way to get started is just to open up ChatGPT, which I have here. You can see I have a Plus subscription. And I'm just going to show you kind of what the difference between the regular ChatGPT that we all know and love is and the agent, in case you haven't used it before. So I could just ask ChatGPT something like, who is the founder of cybersecurity? And this is the fast model, so it'll just kind of quickly give me an answer. Cool, and I can stop it. So now what I can do is if I open a new chat, I can type in /agent, and if you have Plus, one of the premium subscriptions, then you can use this. And now I can give it kind of a broad research task, and so I can ask it to say like, please research who might be able to claim the title of founder of cybersecurity, and provide justification, references, move this out of the way, on why that person might be able to claim that title. Cool. And so the thing that you'll see here is what it's going to do now is it's going to do what it's called setting up its desktop. And the Reddit user, ICANN has Cisco, kind of called this a Windows VM, but it's not really a Windows VM. This is actually just it's kind of like a simulated browser within a browser that it allows it to do its research. And if we go here and look at the developer tools, you should be able to see kind of how it's pulling. Let's see if we can see kind of how it's pulling. Sorry, it's doing a bunch of these really fast. See if I can find one here. Okay, I haven't found one yet, but there are some examples. That's probably because it's in reading mode. Once it pulls a new website, see if it pulls a new website here. Okay, so it pulls this Purdue thing, right? But you notice that it doesn't actually make a request to Purdue. It's still making these requests to ChatGPT. I don't know if you can see that. This icon comes from, that's probably where the icon is. But these are actually, yeah, so it Googles. So it does make a request to Google. But you see it's never actually going to that Purdue website. You see here. You see this? It's kind of weird, right? It's never actually requesting that Purdue website. So if for whatever reason you don't like Purdue and you have it blocked in your network, it's going to get around that. I mean, look at this. This my software something, right? Like there is no request here. Oh, here we go. Let's go down. There's no request here made to that my software something. Look at this. You can see all the requests, right? I mean, look, this is all just ChatGPT to its back end. And there's a little bit of Google here. Gstatic. But nothing to that my software. So anyway, I beat that point to death. The point is, as kind of ICANN has Cisco, I'm going to get that wrong a million times, pointed out, you can basically get around the network control. So it doesn't see that URL, it sees this ChatGPT URL, and so you're able to get around those network controls. So let me stop this, and I'm going to show you something else that you can see in these logs here. So if I refresh this and go to the bottom here. All right, one thing that you're going to notice, this is kind of too much, but that's okay, is when I type in agent and then I type in hello, I want to type something. All right, you're going to notice some requests that come up here. So we'll look at this prepare one, for example, and then when I go to the payload, you can see that it has this system hints agent, and you can also see that the generate autocomplete also has system hint agent, and those are the keys. So I had to dig through this quite a bit. I can't bore you guys with kind of how I figured this out, but basically if you go and you look at all the requests, what you can do is you can actually stop this and you can export a HAR file, and you can figure out where in the data it's actually indicating that it's in agent mode, right? So that it's this ChatGPT agent, what requests it's making to show that it's an agent. And that is how we're going to build that custom application that I mentioned. We're going to see which requests have this key right here, this key value pair that are agent mode, and which and those ones we're going to block, right? But those ones we're going to set as that particular application. I actually exported a HAR file while doing this. This is kind of what I came up with. And I can tell you the key value pairs I found. So some of them, so I found one, the model slug. This was one, and you can see, well, that was the early one. So you can see model slug when I was using agent mode was not instant. It was, let's see if we find it eventually. Come on. Sorry, some of the first ones were instant, so that's why that's what it's showing. Just like I did the same thing like I did here. I saw which ones I did first, kind of the instant, just to see. There we go. So you see model slug agent mode. So that's one of the patterns that we're going to detect in our custom application. And then there's the system hints. So sometimes you'll get system hints where it's got a well, this is an empty string, so that was with the instant version. You saw there was no agent mode, so that's how you know that it's still going to work properly. And I'll show that too as well, that it does work properly. So you see agent here with a list, so system hints, and this is a list, so you've got these brackets. But then actually sometimes, we'll see here. Okay, this is going to be a little strange, right? Yeah, so it's usually a list, as you can see, but sometimes, as you'll believe me in a second, look, system hints, not a list, right? So this is just a string. And then there's also system hint. We can do this. And that's also system hint. That one was a lot easier to find. And that's agent, right? So basically, if it has system hints, agent list, system hints, agent string, or system hint agent, or the model slug agent mode, that means it's using agent. So now what we can do is we can take that information and we can use that to build a custom application. Other thing I will say is, so for example, this one, you want to make sure that you know what method it's using. So you see it's a post method, and you want to know also these URLs, specifically this ending part of the URL here. And yeah, and then also, if you didn't notice, this was JSON data. So there will be a key here for the header type, be application. It'll say the header will have content type, which will be application data, application JSON. Where does it say that? Or I could just type one in. Oh yeah, this one's actually text plain. So actually it can be text plain as well. So that's actually also good to know, that it can either be text plain or JSON, application JSON. Because sometimes it'll be application JSON and then it also has those. Why am I telling you to check that when you do this? The reason is because when we build this custom application, I'm going to have to use a regular expression. Regular expressions take up a ton of system resources to do those searches. So when we do that, we actually want to try to match on something as specific as possible, if that makes sense. So something like application JSON is something that we can match on, and it's going to be an exact match. That's not going to be a regular expression. It's going to be, it's always going to be application JSON, right? And so basically, the reason that you want to do that is because the less that requires less searching, regular expression searching. So if the data type is not application JSON, and that's what you specify, then it's not going to search on things that don't submit application JSON, and that will make sure that adding this application doesn't sort of overwhelm your system by doing a bunch of regular expression searches on all of your network data. That's very, very important. If you don't really understand what I'm saying, you're gonna have to Google like regular expressions and Google like what are the challenges with using regular expressions in network security monitoring. It's kind of a well-known issue. And if you take the GCIA, the Sec 503 from SANS, that's where that's covered quite a bit. And then I also covered that in my network security class at Georgia Tech. It's a well-known issue. Regular expressions can take up a lot of system resources. So basically the less that we do this regular expression searching on, the better. So we want to add, just basically add some additional constraints. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So we've got here my PA440, and under objects applications, you can create, this is where you can create your custom application. So let me do that. And the other important thing to note here is that we want to have a parent app of that OpenAI ChatGPT, OpenAI ChatGPT. And this goes back to the point I just made about regular expressions. This is make sure that this only gets evaluated after it's already been detected as OpenAI ChatGPT. So it's not even going to look at, it's not even going to run this regular expression on any application that's not OpenAI ChatGPT. So that's super important, because this, so that when you run these agent mode things, right now it's only being detected as OpenAI ChatGPT, right? And that's exactly what ICANN has Cisco pointed out. So for these categories, I believe it's SaaS, artificial intelligence, browser-based. We can get these correct. There's a kind of a correct way to do this. We would want to make sure that you check all the same things that the parent application has. But I'm just gonna kind of do this quickly because I don't want to bore you guys by adding all these additional details. But here, let me zoom in this in case you can't see. All right. So I'm going to use the proper naming convention though. So with openai-chatgpt, GPT, I'll do another dash. It's kind of the naming convention of the Palo Alto application IDs. And then I'll type in agent here. So that way you know it's kind of under ChatGPT and it's the agent part. I think I had Googled like ChatGPT agent, and then I could just look at this. Look at this. I'm just like, okay, actually I don't like that. That's like I think this one has like a description. Here we go. Look at this. Copy, paste. Now I have a description. That was probably written by ChatGPT. That'd be funny if they use ChatGPT to write all their own stuff. I guess it would make sense. Yeah, I think they had like, it was known vulnerabilities, pervasive. I think those are the main ones. All right. All right, default ports. I want to use the same as ChatGPT. So I'm actually not sure what that is. So let's just go to Applepedia. So Applepedia is basically Palo Alto's repository of all the applications. So yeah, TCP 8443. That makes sense. Browser-based, SaaS, artificial intelligence. I got most of these right. Vulnerabilities widely used. So those widely used leave us pervasive. All right, cool. So TCP 80 and 443. I feel like I should know that. Don't tell anybody that. And actually, what's cool about this though is that you can just copy and paste. So you don't have to worry about the formatting because it says like enter in the format of this whatever. That's also a regular expression, by the way. And then there we go. We've got the default ports. So now the complicated part, the signatures. We're actually going to only add one signature, but it's going to be kind of a multi-part signature, and it's going to use Boolean logic, which means some and or statements. And we will call this JSON requests with agent tag. So these are going to be those JSON requests, kind of what I showed you before. And it's going to be anything that has those different agent tags. If you remember, it was like model slug, agent mode was one, system hints agent was another one, for example. And we're going to do an ordered condition match. And again, the reason we're doing ordered condition match is we want to make sure that the regex part, the regular expression, which I'm going to put at the end, is basically that's being done on as few packets, as few sessions as possible. It's only being on the ones that could actually be for the agent mode, right? For the ChatGPT agent application. We're going to do this across the session. I had looked at doing it across transaction, and actually it turned out that there's a lot more sort of fragmentation than I would have thought across the different transactions, and so it was better to do it within a session. And so basically the way that this works is you can add your and conditions. So it's it's an and condition 1, and condition 2, and condition 3, etc. And then within each of those and conditions, there's or conditions. If you want to do bigger or conditions, then what you would have to do is add additional signatures. So basically it'll be whichever of these signatures, it can match any of these signatures. And that's why we just want to do one, because we want to keep it simple. We don't want to, again, we don't add too much scanning because each time you add like a custom signature for an application or a threat, you kind of got to be very cognizant of the potential system resources that it could take up. So, I already lost my signature name. All right, so it was JSON request with agent tag. All right. So the first and condition we're going to add, these are all going to be pattern match, but the first one is going to be for the URI. Or path. And I'm not going to walk through how Palo Alto's regular expression syntax works. I actually have a video on custom signatures. Please go check that out on my channel. And I walk through in much more detail how to build these. But basically, you want to use parentheses, and you're going to put the URI path within those parentheses. And so I just, that did not copy properly. So as I mentioned, I had gone through the HAR file and I found all of the paths that were being done. You may remember this from when we did the developer tools, that you saw this generate auto completions, but this was one of them. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a qualifier. This is going to be kind of annoying because I'm going to do this on every single one, but these are only going to be for post requests, because also when I did that analysis, I saw that they were all post requests. All right. If you're not familiar with HTTP, there's a certain order that you have to do these things in. So you can't do like the application JSON before the URI if you're doing the ordered match, because it's going to go through the order of the HTTP request. But again, this is just going to be so much more efficient. So again, if you're building something like this, you're not familiar with like the protocol, just do some research. In this case, HTTP does have a strict ordering within kind of how it sets up the different fields. So so URI comes before the header that has the content type. So URI, this will be 1, and it's going to have to be a post request. Okay. So now, you see this was the and condition 1 or condition 1. So now I can add another or condition under here where I can add the other URIs. So URI path. The second one. And again, this is the annoying part where I have to add this all again. Method, post. Okay, we'll add, how many of these I have? I have 3 total. Here we go, and this one, you may have seen this one earlier, it was the ses1t, and we'll add the method. This will also be post. All right. And the reason I want to put the post here is basically now it will evaluate this pattern match, and it'll evaluate if it's a post, and if it doesn't match in these URIs, or and it's not a post, or it's not a post, then it's gonna not proceed to the next and condition, which is great because it's an ordered condition match. That's great. I don't want it to, I want it to stop there. I want this to be efficient. So I'm going to add another and condition, and this will be for that header. So this will be request header. All right. Sorry, so this will be the HTTP header. Here we go, request headers. And the pattern will be application JSON. And then now there's actually another qualifier just for headers where you can do the header type. And in this case, it'll be the content type. Now, just for the sake of completeness, I'm going to add another or condition, because before I'd only done the application JSON. But if you remember, I had actually seen that there was another one when I did, if I remember correctly, it was system hint. And then it was this, I think. Yep, so look at that. Text plain. Is there a content type header? Do you see that? Look at that. Content type text plain. So there's also a text plain header. So I'm going to be complete and add that one as well. So let's add another or condition. Context, HTTP, request headers. Look at that. Put this in parentheses and add this qualifier. Look at that. Header type. Content type. Boom, boom, boom. So now if it's either text plain or application JSON, Then it will, for the content type, then it will proceed to the third condition, which is where I'm finally going to add the that actual message body that we talked about, right? So I'll walk through one with you just so you kind of get an idea. So if you remember the system hint here, let's see if we got it. So system hint agent. So let me just copy this and then we'll turn it into the proper regular expression. The next ones I'm just going to copy paste. you only get one out of me. So this is the message body. So in case you were wondering, the actual payload is going to be the HTTP request message body. And let's just paste this. All right. So the first thing is we don't know where in the message body this is going to be, so we're going to have to add a wildcard. And so basically, dot means any character or no character, and then the asterisk, what I like to call splat, because I'm an OG tech guy. Basically means like as many of the previous characters. So it's just basically a kind of a wild card of as many characters to search for this as possible, right? And then we'll add that parentheses, and so now it'll be so this quotation mark that's in the Palo Alto firewall is actually it's not a special character, so you don't need the backslash before it. Or before this one. But the thing is that for JSON, there can actually be as much white space as you want between this kind of quotation mark and that colon there. And so because of that, we have to create a \s, which is white space, and then a splat to be as much white space as you want between those two is permitted before the colon. And then same thing after the colon. And again, if you don't know how this stuff works, you just have to kind of Google like proper JSON format. And that's before that quotation mark as well. And then actually you don't need to add anything at the end because it's just smart enough to know like kind of once it's matched this amount that it's considered to be a positive. So you don't like in some cases, oh sorry, I didn't need this. Remember, I don't need that backslash for the quotation marks. In some cases you might think that you need to add like a period asterisk here to be like, okay, and anything afterwards. But fortunately in Palo Alto, fortunately or unfortunately, but I think it's fortunate in Palo Alto, it's smart enough to be like, okay, basically as long like you have to add this at the beginning, but then as long as it matches this somewhere, then it's considered to be a match. All right, so that is one of the OR conditions, and let me just add the other ones. So again, message body. Message body. So this one is for that model slug agent mode. If you don't remember, I'm just copying and pasting these. Can't manage to highlight the whole thing, so I have to close that parentheses. So that was the model slug agent mode. So that's the next OR condition. And then going to do another message body. All right, this is for one of the system hints ones. This is the one where it's a list. This one doesn't have parentheses. Let's do that. So this one you see that you do have to escape those brackets because those are a special character in the Palo Alto regular expression. And then one more OR condition. We're almost there. And this is the system hints where it's not a list. And this will be message body as well. All right, cool. Yep, so these are all message body. So again, we're doing the URI path first. If it doesn't match that URI path, not a post request, it's not going to proceed to the next. It makes it a lot more efficient. Then it has to be one of these headers. If it doesn't match one of these headers, it's not going to proceed to the next. Again, helps with efficiency. Finally, it's going to actually look if it matches those two above, and if it's already a ChatGPT, known to be a ChatGPT app, then boom, now you can do this regular expression search for this data. Okay, let us save that. It's gonna be a lot longer video than I realized. All right, there we go. Look, openai-chatgpt-agent. Risk 1, let's change that. So risk is probably like 4. All right, so now we can make a policy for it. Let me go to my security policies, and if I scroll down, you can see I have, look at this, Wes ChatGPT. And if we monitor, we type in OpenAI, ChatGPT. Okay, you can see that was the rule that it was hitting, Wes ChatGPT. Cool. So now we can go to the policies. Of course, now it's loading slow. Oh, don't do that. All right, we'll go back down to, come on, Wes ChatGPT, here we go. And I'm gonna clone this, go before rule. All right, now Wes ChatGPT, as you see here, is an allow rule, but I'm gonna make this new one a deny rule. ChatGPT agent. Source is from my devices to the internet. All right, so we're gonna add the OpenAI ChatGPT agent. We're gonna remove the regular ChatGPT. And then we are going to, I wonder if it's not, okay. Then we're going to, so in deny rules, please always change your application default to any in your deny rules. I got to tell people this all the time. Please, deny rules, the service URL category should be any. Actions, deny. And yeah, you don't have to worry about the profile because it's going to be denied. All right, so if it gets identified as that application, it's going to get denied. Okay. All right, cool. Now let's commit this. And if you have not noticed, my last video I was on the PA VM, and in this video I'm back on my 440. So I am going to save you guys some pain because the commits on the PA 440 are a lot longer than they are on the VM series. It's already kind of a long video, it's turning out to be, so I'm going to skip this commit. So here we go. Okay, so the commit has completed, so now I guess we can go test it, right? So let's close this and we'll go back to ChatGPT. Let's see, can I just refresh this? All right, let's do it. Let's refresh this. Cool. Well, I guess let's first make sure that we didn't break regular ChatGPT. So let's see. Let's ask it. Let's see. What famous people have birthdays in August? There we go. That's a good question, right? There we go. Do I know? Yeah, James Baldwin. Yeah, I guess I know a lot of people. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, I'll stop that. Now, if I get a new chat going, let's get this agent. All right, moment of truth. And let's say, please do a research. Please research everyone who has. Please research people who have August birthdays and provide information on who is the most prolific and has the August spirit I think there's like a spirit associated with every month, right? Anyway, spending way more time like writing this than actually like setting up the rest of the stuff. But anyway, who has the most August spirit? Please cite. You can already see stuff getting blocked over here, which is good in the agent mode. Please cite your references and justify your position based on the references and their strength, whatever that means. Point is, need him. I don't know why ChatGPT him. Need it to use agent mode or attempt to. All right. See what happens. Look at that. Look at all these pending. All right, let's go. Well, this thing. Oh, look at that. Network connection lost. Look at that. This thing is blocked. All right, let's go look. Let's monitor. So we already had the openai-chatgpt. So now if we add the -agent, let's see if it should be getting hit. Look at that, it's getting hit right now. So right now it's, what time is it? Oh, it's 7:58 p.m. here in Florida, and it's getting denied. Look at that. So it's successfully detecting the agent as its own application, and that policy is successfully denying it. So it is working, and it is, not allowing me to use the agent. So yeah, it works. There is a way to detect that particular application. You do have to do some network analysis, and I know that I skipped over a lot of that, but it is a lot longer topic to cover. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. I'm happy to talk to you more about how to do analysis of web requests, etc. But if you know how to do that, then you can build these custom applications. The one thing I will say, I don't know if I harped on this enough, but I am decrypting ChatGPT. Very, very important. You do need to have decryption working, otherwise you won't be able to see the content of these post requests, but I am decrypting those so I can see the content, and that's how I'm able to read the message body and build this custom application. And then I'm able to block the application on the firewall so that someone can't use it to bypass my network security controls. But as you saw, ChatGPT, the rest of it still works perfectly. So it's exactly what ICANN has Cisco, the Reddit user, wanted to see, and it is possible. So I hope you found that interesting, and maybe this is opportunity for you to learn to build your own custom applications for other applications that you might be using, or more fidelity within applications. If you thought this was helpful, and if this is something that you're going to use, please put that in the comments below. If this also kind of inspires you for any new ideas or stuff that you want to see with the Palo Alto firewall or other Palo Alto products, please also put those in the comments. I'm always open to suggestions. I think that these kind of more cool, interesting problems that maybe not everybody runs into, which require a little bit more work, are the most interesting ones to me. So I really want to make more videos like that, and I hope to see you in one of those videos in the future. Thank you.